Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a good night here. Hope you guys survived that bitter cold that we had just yesterday. My God, it was ridiculous. We had something like negative 16 degrees when I woke up and went out to work yesterday, and that was just kind of a bit ridiculous. Like I walked outside, every muscle in my body tensed up. But yeah, that's Wisconsin for you. We choose to live here. So there is a reason for today's post, and there's always a reason. And I feel more often than not going forward, I feel like I have to just drop all kinds of verbal pipe bombs on folks because I don't know. And feel free to correct me if you guys think I'm wrong on this. I don't know if the Republican Party of Wisconsin is taking things seriously. I don't think the Republican National Committee is taking things seriously. I don't know if people actually understand what is at stake here. So, what exactly do I mean here? I've talked about this for quite some time. I've talked about this for years that, when it comes to dealing with the Republican Party here in rural Wisconsin in particular, a lot of it is just not seen. A lot of it is just, well, you just take it for granted. Oh, that's a reliable red county. It's going to be fine. No, they got like 66% Republican vote. It'll never turn blue. I tell you, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that, I'd have like 2 or 3 Bitcoin by now. I know. Bitcoin's crashing. Trust me, I know. I keep an eye very closely on the crypto markets. But that being said, and don't mind me, we're going to have a beverage here. It is late, it is Thursday night. And I would encourage you guys to do the same. But so for years, I've talked about this. In 2016, it almost seemed like it didn't matter because you really didn't see very many people out there with Hillary Clinton signs. And I think part of that is just that Hillary just was not a likable person. Now let's move fast forward to 2020. I do a lot of traveling during the day. I probably put on per week 5 to 600 miles per week easily. And in my travels in the 2020 election cycle, the number of Biden signs that I saw out and about was staggering. And it amazed me because there was a lot of folks, again, that think that these counties, Washera County, Marquette County, Adams County, Green Lake County, there is this belief that somehow these counties are just going to be reliably and forever red. And it's almost like you're resting on your laurels. You're not even trying anymore at this point. You, for some reason or another, you think that, you know what, things have always been like this. They will continue to be like that. And that's just the way it's going to be. Well, as you guys know, I never come to a story without evidence. I never make accusations without bringing receipts. And today, I'm going to be bringing some. And I really hope this message gets out to individuals like Paul Farrow, who's the chair of RPW here. I really hope this goes out to the 6th Congressional District chair here in the state of Wisconsin, or all the congressional chairs out here. I hope this goes out to RPW and anybody that needs to pay attention to this because if anyone's at fault, I'm pitting the blame directly on you guys. Now, I know you could say, yeah, that's kind of not fair. And it's like, well, why isn't it? Here in my county, Washera County, I have literally spent 7 years, seven, trying to contact this party. I have sent emails. I have asked friends. I have asked associates. I have reached out via social media, and I have gotten no response up until recent. I actually got something in the mail. Yes, the mail, USPS, for membership after I requested it several weeks ago. And well, it kind of tells you that if you have one county party like mine, there are others that are just like it. They're there as placeholders. They're there as people that are just there for the title. They're not really doing any work. Let me show you what's happening here. And then I'm going to double back here because I want you to understand where the genesis of this comes from. Now, again, we're working with share screen, so we're going to work with this. I want to share this here because I really believe that this is an important article that needs to come out here. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Let's get rid of the chat overlay for the moment. And if we get people in the chat later, that's going to be awesome. But yeah, so here we go. Now, this story itself, this comes from the Daily Yonder. It's a rural, it's a website that deals with rural issues around the country. I do believe that is a left leaning. They say that they're a nonpartisan organization, but look at the list of their major donors. I mean, we got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we got the Carnegie Corporation, Economic Opportunity Funders, Ford Foundation, Microsoft, Hearst Foundations, Nathan Cumming Foundation. You know, this and it is, and readers like you. Um, it reeks of liberal funding. Now, just because it reeks of liberal funding doesn't mean they're not correct in what they're about to say here. And I'm going to move something here. Just give me 1 second because we have another article we want to bring up here in a little bit too. But in this particular article here, this is actually written, I believe it was November of 21. And the article itself states, it's a commentary piece here. Wisconsin Democrats seek to strengthen party in rural communities. Quote, the biggest challenge in challenging people's thinking because we can't do what you've always done, says the chair of the state's rural caucus. Oh, you're gonna love this here. And I'm gonna put the link here in the chat below. So that way you all have access to it. It is in the description, but I want to make sure that you guys have this. Very important. Very important. So let's throw this here. I know. Control V. There we go. So you guys have this here. All right, let's get into the article. Democrats in Wisconsin's rural county parties are confronting challenges endemic to those in all of rural America. Sparse and aging membership, limited funds, and sporadic access to technology. This in turn can create low morale amongst rural county party chairs who sometimes feel abandoned, that out here we're on our own. That is true. I can attest to that. At 33, the Badger State is the nation's most clearly divided one politically. 4 of the last 6 presidential elections have been decided by less than 1 percentage point. A new report shows why Wisconsin was such a 2020 battleground and why one going forward. In 2022, if controversial Republican U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, okay, let me stop there for a second. This already tells me this is a left-leaning publication. Controversial Republican U.S. Senator Ron Johnson. Okay, if he gets a third term, if he runs, and we know he is, and if Tony Evers, a Democrat, is reelected to a second term, to improve Democrat performance in rural counties, the caucus of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, DPW, has launched an initiative called Power Up Rural Wisconsin to strengthen county parties through a community coordinator network. The biggest challenge is challenging people's thinking because we can't do what you've always done, explains Nate Tim, rural caucus chair of DPW. People are not hopeful in rural parts of the area. They've not been paid attention to for years. They're losing and then they lose again because again, Republican stronghold for the most part. He said, summarizing the resentment that has allowed Republicans in the Trump era to run up the score in the Hitherlands. Like we're okay. Anyway, to address the reality that that a third of county chairs turn over annually, and that the rural Democrats often feel intimidated by their Republican neighbors' signs and discourse, the DPW is building a network of communities coordinators to serve as allies between small towns and the county Democratic Party, help coordinate sign distribution by identifying locations and distributing signs and disseminating information on issues and candidates through letters to the editors, social media, and radio. Tim is passionate about yard signs, so don't give him the old trope that signs don't vote, people do, or you might get a tongue lashing from the retired social studies teacher. Tim knows how it is for yard signs to be placed in rural communities where local Republican networks, from the NRA and Farm Bureau to the newer right wing super PACs, hold tremendous sway in local opinion. One significant achievement was to change the DPW's focus on signs, he said, recalling a September of 2021 picnic in Waushara County where Tim presented Governor Evers with a homemade placard and bent his ear for the need for massive sign distribution. I'll read that again. One significant achievement was to change the DPW's focus on signs. He said, recalling a September 2021 picnic in the Waushara County where Tim presented Governor Tony Evers with a homemade placard and bent his ear on the need for massive sign distribution. On his way home, he told the communications director, "I've got to get yard signs." Tim noted, adding that this will be the first time a Democrat governor has ever had a signage plan for the state. The goal is 60,000 signs to be deployed next year in waves in May, June, and August, with DPW's political director taking over from commercial shippers to do the deliveries into 6 hubs across the state. To date, community coordinators have been brought onto 2 driftless area counties in the southwest corner of the state, 3 counties in the northwest, and a quadrant of red counties in the middle of the state. Here, you guys are going to want to listen to this part. 10% of all rural voters in Wisconsin came out of the 4 counties: Adams County, Green Lake County. By the way, Green Lake County, that is where Ripon is, the birthplace of the Republican Party. Marquette County, Waushara County, right where I'm sitting right now. So we're doing something right. They're growing, and I'll tell you how they got that, by the way. Said Bill Crawford, the vice chair for the Waushara County Democrat Party. In Marinette County, the local party has run spots on local radio stations, and Crawford said, "Well, we still do canvassing when we get out a little pocketbooks of the U.S. Constitution stamped with compliments of the Waushara County Democrat Party on the back." Tim and Crawford are optimistic that these multi-county collaborations share information and strategies for dealing with issues such as, I don't know what this is. Oh, sulfide mining, water, well water quality, concentrated animal feed operations, and the larger crowds will be available for events in multi-county groups, as well as reducing the burnout for the county chairs. I don't see why this template can't be applied in other rural areas, Tim said. This is November of 2021. How long have I been harping on this very fact that Republicans in the rural counties are being overlooked, being ignored by the larger state party itself, RPW, and the national party, the RNC? I have put people on blast, and I will continue to put people on blast. But you know what? Let me bring this home here. For me, since I live in Waushara County, every year, with the exception of last year, well, 2020, I should say, there's always a 4th of July parade. Always. And every year, there's the Democrat Party of Wisconsin out there, and they have a float in the parade. Our county Republican Party, nowhere to be seen. I was told at one point by somebody representing my county's Republican Party, they don't do meetings. Wow. You want a news flash? The Democrat Party of Waushara County holds a meeting every 3rd Thursday of the month. Every 3rd Thursday of the month. Let me share another screen for you guys here. I think you guys will appreciate this. When I saw this, it kind of blew my mind. Now, harken back to the fact that for years I have been looking for the Republican Party here. Now, of course, I can go to the state website. The state website ends up giving me a contact and an email address that is obsolete. The individual is no longer with us. Moreover, it's even more interesting that even when I do reach out to them, I can't find them. That just kind of really bugs me out and upsets me to no end. Well, you take a look at the Wisconsin Democrats membership page, boy, you can go on there, you can make a donation, you can join $25 for general membership for a year. You could do a pair or family membership, student, veteran, low income membership. You use PayPal, Vimo, credit cards, membership benefits, vote in party elections. So, meanwhile, while the Republicans here in Wisconsin are over here, bitching and moaning about the endorsement process. Oh, that's just not fair. Shut up. Democrats make it very clear. You, as a member, get to vote in member elections. What a novel idea. The opportunity to become a delegate in the annual state party, a membership card. And here, after you donate, you'll be taken to an optional survey. Fill it out. If you want to join a Wisconsin Democrats Identity Caucus, high school Democrats, college Dems, Young Democrats of Wisconsin. Republican Party of Wisconsin doesn't have anything close to this. Nothing. Hell, my county party doesn't even have a digital footprint. If you were to look it up on Facebook, you would see a defunct Facebook page from 3, maybe 4 years ago. So tell me, am I wrong in this? I I really think when we see a lot of folks that are out here and they're giving their stump speeches, they're talking a lot of good game, and they're against CRT, they're against mandates, they're against vaccination, whatever. And that's cool. I think that's great. I do. I really do. But I'm taking back to something I saw a few years ago. AOC's rise, and this ties together. AOC's rise was rather meteoric. She took out the third most powerful Democrat in Congress, and then she won that primary. And she became a national celebrity. She would just go out there and say some of the darndest things. Ronald Reagan has a son. His name is Mike Reagan. On YouTube, he has this channel called Mr. Reagan. If you were to look it up, there's a two-part series called The Rise of AOC. I may have to name off a little bit, but basically it talks about how she came to be. And it was rather fascinating because in that story, there are clips of her literally auditioning. There's clips of her talking about how she auditioned literally for this role through the Justice Democrats. And as you watch more of this, what you come to find is that the Justice Democrats have a plan. And the thing that should scare people, and I've talked about this several years ago, these folks aren't your normal Democrats. These are believers. And when they tell you that they have a plan, they're going to tell you their plan because they have no fear of you. They have no fear that you're going to do anything to stand up. As a matter of fact, they're banking on the fact that you're going to sit there, rest on your laurels, because let's face it, it's what Republicans do. We win something, we rest, and then we get surprised when we're beat again. The fascinating part about Democrats is that, and you have to respect the hustle. These folks are like some damn Terminators. They are like the damn T-800. And right about now, I kind of feel like Kyle Reese over here yelling at Sarah Connor and talking about, they won't stop. They don't quit. They don't need to sleep, eat, anything else. They have no mercy. And they absolutely will not stop until you are dead. Politically, that is. But in this documentary here, The Rise of AOC, a couple of the members there, Saikat Chakrabarti, who I believe at one time was AOC's chief of staff, and there was another gentleman, a Texan, and they were talking about how they want to plant individuals within Republican circles to essentially run for office, governor, lieutenant governor, county boards, all the way up and down the ticket, to cause havoc in our primaries. And lo and behold, what are we seeing right now? Boy, we got everybody upset about the endorsement process. You got everybody's out here saying, I'm the only one doing this. I'm the only one doing that. When in reality, everybody's pretty much done the same thing. And I have to go back and I have to review this because I really do believe with all my heart, I think maybe the Justice Democrats have got something to this. They have planted individuals within our ranks. They have planted people within the conservative movement to cause disruption, friction, baseless accusations. And I do believe that their plan hasn't stopped. I do believe they are looking for rural areas that were very reliably red. My county alone, 66% of my population voted Republican. But one thing that a lot of folks that aren't taking this into account right now is how COVID has changed the game. The very fact that over the last 2 years, you have people leave Southeast Wisconsin, you have people leave Northern Illinois, people that have summer homes up here. Take a look at some of the listings in some of these rural areas. Number one, if you can find a house, it's almost gone right away. And secondly, if you can find a house, whatever they're listing at, you're probably going to pay about 20 to 50,000 over asking price. A bidding war is happening all over the place. We know this. And why? People are trying to get out of the cities. They are tired of the oppression. But what ends up ultimately happening, though, when you leave an area like Chicago with your liberal tendencies and your liberal beliefs and everything else, what you end up ultimately doing is you end up bringing your trash voting habits with you. So we will see a shift in those numbers. And to actually sit here and believe that somehow we're going to be reliably red and you're comfortable with the number of 66% Republican turnout. Now, I get it. That number is closer to 70 than it is to 50. But how many election cycles do you think you would take to turn it blue? Do you think that people at one time in California actually thought that they would ever be a blue state? I mean, this is a state that voted for Reagan twice. Used to be a red state. Now all of a sudden, wow, amazing. There's a lot to consider going forward. And I do believe at the end of the day, we need to look at it like this. You may think that we're not at war with the left. You could think that. You could think that all day long, and you would be wrong. But you see, the thing about being at war with something, somebody, or whatever, you don't have to believe it in order for them to. You may think that they're not at war with you, or you're not at war with them, but they're definitely at war with you. And they are not resting. They are not stopping. They aren't even resting on their laurels in defeat. They are not even licking their wounds. They may take a day, they may take a week, but they're right back out there working, hustling, doing what it takes to win elections. Republican Party, what are you guys doing? Why do we have counties out here that aren't doing a damn thing? Why do we have, congressional chairs that aren't keeping people in check and reining these people in to get them to do things? Why are we not having meetings, voter drives, gatherings, pints and politics? Why are we not doing any of that? I guess we're just used to doing things the old way. I suppose if we keep doing that, you can sit there and you can contemplate and reflect, how did this happen? And then you can come back and watch this video again. And then you can understand. I told you. You just didn't want to listen. All right, guys. I'm going to keep this short. I didn't want to go too long on it, but yeah, make sure you check out the website, thecaramelconservative.com. We'll be going live this week. We got a few other things going on. So this weekend, Saturday, we'll have a bunch of different episodes. I'm going to try to just some random talk, random politics, kind of go over all that goodness there. So we'll go over that. Like I said, check the website out, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the flip side. I'm out.